Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tavern of Tales. If you like my tales, then I'm sure you'll like these as well. Now, I won't bore you with the details, so without further ado, let's get on with it.
The cemetery that counted the living. Everyone in Raven's Hollow knew one rule: never enter Briar Cemetery after sunset. The cemetery sat atop a lonely hill surrounded by twisted oak trees that never grew leaves. Every headstone leaned at odd angles. Every statue seemed to watch. The oldest graves dated back nearly 300 years. But every visitor noticed something impossible. No matter where they stood, there always seemed to be one more grave than before. People laughed about it, until someone started counting. 25-year-old Mason Carter had just moved into town after inheriting his grandfather's old farmhouse. He loved history. Ghost stories didn't scare him. When the cashier at the grocery store warned him about Briar Cemetery, he smiled. It's just an old graveyard. The elderly cashier looked toward the hill through the store window. Without blinking, she whispered, "The graves aren't the problem." That sentence stayed with Mason. 3 nights later, curiosity won. He grabbed his flashlight and camera. At exactly 11:45 p.m., he walked toward the cemetery. The rusted iron gate stood wide open. It squealed gently, although there wasn't any wind. Mason stepped inside. Rows upon rows of weathered headstones stretched endlessly into the darkness. His flashlight barely reached 20 feet ahead. Everything was silent. No crickets, no owls, no breeze. Just silence. His camera suddenly flashed. Once, twice, 3 times. He frowned. He hadn't touched it. Checking the photos, everything looked normal. Except, in the last picture, someone stood between 2 graves. A little girl wearing a faded white dress, her face hidden beneath long black hair. Mason looked up. Nothing. The cemetery was empty. He laughed nervously, then kept walking. Near the center stood a massive angel statue. Its stone face looked peaceful, its hands folded in prayer. Mason took another picture. Flash. When he lowered the camera, the angel's head had turned. It was looking directly at him. He stumbled backward. The statue remained perfectly still. He checked the picture. The angel had been facing forward. He slowly looked up again. Now, it smiled. The church bell from town suddenly rang. Midnight. Every grave around him began making soft, knocking sounds. Knock, knock, knock. One by one, hundreds of graves. All at once, something beneath the ground was knocking. Then he heard footsteps. Behind him, slow, heavy. Crunch, crunch, crunch. He spun around. Nobody. Yet the footsteps continued, circling him. Closer, closer, closer. His flashlight flickered. When the light steadied, people stood throughout the cemetery. Dozens of them, men, women, children, all dressed in clothing from different centuries. Every one of them stared silently. None blinked, none breathed. An old groundskeeper appeared beside the gate, his eyes filled with fear. He shouted, "Don't let them count you!" Before Mason could ask what he meant, the ghosts began whispering together. 1, 2, 3. More voices joined. 4, 5. Soon hundreds of voices echoed through the cemetery, slowly counting. Mason realized they weren't counting graves. They were counting people. The little girl stepped forward. She pointed behind Mason. You're standing on yours." His blood froze. He looked down. Fresh dirt. A brand new gravestone. His flashlight illuminated the inscription, Mason Carter, 2001, 2026. He screamed and ran. The ghosts never chased him. They simply watched, still counting. 9, 10, 11. As he reached the gate, a cold hand grabbed his shoulder. He turned. Nobody. Only a whisper. "We'll count again tomorrow." Mason never returned. Within a week, he sold the farmhouse and left Ravens Hollow forever. Years later, visitors still walk through Briar Cemetery. Some swear the number of graves changes every time they count them. Others claim the angel statue turns its head whenever no one is looking. But the oldest residents never count the headstones, because they know, if the cemetery ever finishes counting, it starts making room for the next name. Ghost Train of Black Hollow, fictional horror story. For over 80 years, the Black Hollow Railway had been abandoned. The tracks ended in the middle of nowhere. The tunnels had collapsed. The station slowly rotted away beneath vines and rust. Yet every month, on the night of the new moon, at exactly 1:11 a.m., a train still arrived. No one knew where it came from. No one knew where it went. Everyone in town followed one rule: never board the train. 27-year-old Ethan Walker had just moved to Black Hollow to document abandoned railroads. He didn't believe ghost stories. When an old station caretaker warned him about the Midnight Express, Ethan laughed. "It's just an old legend." The caretaker quietly answered, "Legends don't leave fresh footprints." 3 nights later, curiosity got the better of him. At 1:05 a.m., he walked onto the abandoned platform carrying only a flashlight and camera. Everything was silent. No wind, no crickets, no distant traffic. Then, the old station clock suddenly began ticking, even though it hadn't worked in decades. Tick, tick, tick. Exactly 6 times. Then, a deafening train whistle echoed through the valley. Whoa! The rusted rails began vibrating beneath Ethan's boots. Fog rolled across the tracks. Out of the darkness, a black steam locomotive slowly emerged. Its headlights glowed pale blue. Its metal body looked untouched by time. Across the front, gold letters read, "The Midnight Express." The train stopped without making a sound. Every window glowed warmly. Inside, passengers sat perfectly still. Men, women, children, all dressed in clothing from different decades. None blinked. None moved. They simply stared out the windows, waiting. The conductor stepped onto the platform. He wore a perfectly pressed black uniform. A silver pocket watch dangled from his vest. But beneath his cap, there was no face, only darkness. He tipped his hat. Final boarding. The train doors slid open. Inside, every seat was occupied, except one, right in the center. Seat 13. A paper ticket rested on it, printed neatly across the front. Ethan Walker. Ethan backed away. His camera suddenly flashed. Once, twice, 3 times. He checked the screen. The train wasn't empty anymore. Every passenger had turned toward him, smiling. A little girl slowly stood. She pressed one hand against the window. Then, she mouthed 4 silent words. "You're already too late." The lights inside the train flickered. The passengers all stood at once, slowly, in perfect unison, their heads tilted, one by one, until every face looked directly at Ethan. The conductor checked his pocket watch. "Departure in 60 seconds. The station loudspeaker crackled. All passengers must now board. There was no one else there, only Ethan. The ground beneath him suddenly shook. Fresh footprints appeared in the dirt. Walking toward the train. No one was making them. Invisible footsteps. Closer, closer, closer. Until they stopped. Directly behind him. Something cold whispered beside his ear. "Don't miss your train." Ethan spun around. Nobody. When he turned back, the conductor was standing inches away. His empty hood filled the entire doorway. A gloved hand stretched toward Ethan, holding the ticket. Without thinking, Ethan threw his camera at the conductor. The camera shattered. Every window on the train exploded at once. Glass rained across the platform. The passengers screamed, not with voices, but with the sound of screeching train brakes. The whistle blasted again. The Midnight Express slowly began pulling away. As it disappeared into the fog, every passenger raised one hand and waved goodbye. By sunrise, the tracks were gone. The station looked exactly as it had the day before. Collapsed, abandoned, forgotten. Police found Ethan unconscious beside the platform. His camera was destroyed, but the memory card survived. It contained one final photograph. Inside car 13, every seat was full, except one. Seat 13. The ticket was gone, and someone was sitting there. A young man who looked exactly like Ethan, smiling through the window as the Midnight Express disappeared into the darkness. The Haunted Museum of Ashcroft Manor, fictional horror story. The Ashcroft Museum had stood at the edge of town for over 100 years. During the day, it welcomed tourists. At night, nobody stayed. Every security guard hired to work the midnight shift quit before sunrise. None of them ever explained why. They all said the same 6 words. The exhibits don't stay in place. 25-year-old Nathan Cole had just accepted a job as the museum's new overnight security guard. He laughed when the manager warned him. "It's probably just old pipes and bad lighting." The manager handed him a brass key, then quietly added, "If you hear footsteps behind you, don't turn around." At 11:59 p.m., Nathan locked the front doors. The museum fell completely silent. Rows of ancient armor stood frozen. Portraits stared from the walls. Glass display cases reflected the moonlight. Everything seemed perfectly normal. Until midnight. Every grandfather clock inside the museum chimed together. Dong, dong, dong. 12 echoes rolled through the empty halls. Then, every clock stopped. Forever. Nathan's flashlight flickered. One of the night statues was gone. It had stood beside the entrance moments ago. Now, its pedestal was empty. A metallic clang echoed somewhere upstairs. Nathan followed the sound. The second-floor gallery was lined with oil paintings. Kings, queens, children, families. Every portrait was exactly where it belonged. Except one frame. It was empty. The painted family had vanished. Footsteps echoed behind him. Slow, heavy, metal scraping across marble. Nathan remembered the warning. He didn't turn around. Instead, he looked into the glass of a nearby display case. The reflection made his blood freeze. Standing directly behind him was the missing knight. Its helmet slowly turned toward him. Nathan spun around. Nothing. The hallway was empty. When he looked back into the glass, the knight was gone again. His radio crackled. Static. Then, a child's voice whispered, "We're upstairs." The museum didn't have a third floor. Yet, He heard children laughing overhead. Curiosity pulled him toward a narrow staircase hidden behind an old tapestry. At the top, he found a dusty attic gallery. Hundreds of covered statues filled the room. Everyone wore a white sheet, except one. It was uncovered. A life-sized marble statue of a young boy, holding a lantern. Its stone eyes seemed almost alive. Nathan lifted his flashlight. The beam swept across the room. When it returned, the statue had moved. Just one step closer. He backed away. The flashlight flickered again. Now, every sheet in the attic was empty. The statues were gone. Stone footsteps echoed all around him. Clack, clack, clack. Closer, closer, closer. Nathan sprinted downstairs. The museum doors wouldn't open. Every portrait now showed different faces. Visitors, tourists, security guards, people wearing modern clothes, all trapped inside the paintings. Their mouths moved silently, as if begging for help. His flashlight died. Only one room remained lit. The museum's central exhibit, a massive mirror. Above it hung a bronze plaque. The exhibit of the forgotten. Nathan looked into the mirror. His reflection smiled. He didn't. His reflection slowly lifted one hand and waved. Then, it stepped out of the mirror, while Nathan's body stayed inside. The next morning, employees found the museum exactly as they had left it. Every display was perfect. Every statue stood still. Every painting looked normal. Except one new portrait hung in the security hallway. A young man wearing a security uniform, holding a flashlight, looking terrified. The brass plate beneath the frame simply read, Nathan Cole, Night Watchman, 2026. Visitors still stop to admire the painting. Some swear, if they return a second time. Nathan is standing in a different position, watching them, waiting for the museum to make room for its next exhibit.
I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. Well, if you're interested in more stories, then you know where to find me. I'll be here drinking and talking with my comrades as always. Until next time, friend.